Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to National Racing Network. It is Tuesday night, and that means only one thing. It's time for the Tuesday Night Thunder Series. Yes, we are here with the Shock, and we are ready for Series 9. It is race number 11, and we are at Nashville Fairgrounds today for a fantastic little track that's going to bring us some fantastic racing. It might be tricky out there, but it is definitely going to be fun. I am Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you up here in the booth, chatting away with you this evening with Kobe Jordan, busy in the background doing all the hard work of production. We are getting ready to go into qualifying very, very shortly, but before we do, we will quickly just look at the season standings and go through the championship order. And to little surprise, it's James Watson in the lead from that fantastic season he has been having so far, but Ryan Labarge is trying to close up a little bit in second place. The battle behind him is absolutely on, with Wes Shear in third position, fourth for Simon Fell, fifth for Nia Kamaho. Jason Miller sits in sixth, seventh for Victor Aldrich, Michael Long, Drew Bernardi and Peter Donchek rounding out our top 10 at the moment. But it has been a stunning season so far for James Watson. Can he get himself another victory here tonight at the Fairgrounds, or will we see a new victor crowned? We're going to be heading into qualifying very, very shortly. Just getting our warm-up done here at Nashville. Very short track, about 0.6 of a mile, 0.59 of a mile to be absolutely precise. We're looking at, as always, a 50-minute race length, and we should be looking at around about one stop for fuel, possibly two, depending on how well they can save it. Of course, there are a couple of sets of tyres across the wall just in case they need it, and as always, that right front tyre will be screaming in pain. One thing to watch out for here is the pit exit, as people getting out on track, very easy to get a little bit loose and find yourself with a penalty very, very quickly here, and that could really, really dampen the spirits and hurt your evening for the race. If you're new to the series, well, first of all, welcome to National Racing Network. Welcome to TNT Shock Series. Big thank you for joining us here tonight. Make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and get chatting to us in the socials. But we are going to be heading into qualifying very, very shortly. And with qualifying for the series, it is a 2-lap average. So you've got to make sure you get it absolutely right. And that's not always an easy thing to do in this car. The cold tyres can be absolutely terrible to get working. And for those first 2 laps, the car feels like an absolute pig. Well, we are just about to get into qualifying now. The warm-up ticks over and the qualifying will start, and we will jump on board with somebody as they get ready to leave the track, leave the pit lane I should say, and get ready to head out on track for their 2-lap shootout qualifying. Who's going to be taking pole position tonight? That's going to be the big question, I am sure. As we head out with Brian Labarge here, and we will be seeing how the NASA car goes here tonight. And hopefully Labarge will be able to set a decent lap. Has set some decent qualifying laps recently. We'll be trying again, taking a very high entry through the final corner to get as much runoff as possible. Gets it down mid-section of the track, nice and low on the exit, pinching down, gets out nicely, giving the wall a little bit of respect at the moment. You've got to be careful not to give that a tap, because if you do, your 2-lap qualifying is over and done with. But you've got to keep the speed up as well. Labarge keeping the car nice and pinned, lots of power down, being very gentle on the throttle, getting the car nicely turned in before he gets on the accelerator. How will this go for Labarge? Where will this pop him up as he crossing the line and sets a 16.034 for the average, and that is ahead of everybody at the moment. Nia Kamaho just coming into second place with a 16.2 at the moment as they continue on through the pack. We've got Drew Bernardi at the moment on track, hoping to get in a good lap here in the 86. Gets himself across the line with a 16.8. Victor Aldrich currently on track, and again we'll be looking to set that time in the Team Watson Racing setup colours there, and wanting to get a decent result for that team tonight. Gets across the line at 16.4 at the moment. As we wait to see who else will be coming out on track, it's Jason Miller next in the number 3, looking to get a couple of laps in, and we'll have to go back because he just crossed that line, and we'll have to start that again. As I said, it's very easy to find yourself crossing that pit exit line and getting yourself a penalty. It gets very, very tight on that exit, and it is very easy to make that mistake. There's Shear at the moment on track in the 16, getting round for his first lap. How will the second one go? Down the back straight we go into the corner, getting the car turned in nicely, gently on the throttle. You don't want to be too stabby on that. Just a little bit of correction on the exit. How does that go for the lap time? One more lap in it by the looks of things. Down the back straight he goes, once again turning in nice and gentle, nice and easy on the throttle. Gets the car in and gets across the line, and that will put Wes Shear up into 6th position with a 16.3. James Watson's been out on track and almost got Brian Labarge's time, a 16.050 for Watson, with a 16.034 for Labarge. And that looks like almost everybody has done their qualifying run. Just Travis Raylon waiting, and looks like he's going to not be setting a qualifying time here, so we will quickly get ready to go into the race very, very shortly. So won't be long until we get underway for this round number 11 of the series here at Nashville Fairgrounds. A very, very fun little track. If you've never raced here before, it is a brilliant short track, and in these Indy Pro 2000 cars, it does deliver some fantastic action indeed. So we'll just quickly jump to an ad and we'll be back with you for the grid.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
And we are back and ready for the grid. We are here, and it is the Shock Series TNT National Racing Network, and we are getting ready for the grid. And it is Brian Labarge taking pole position tonight with James Watson on his outside. On row number 2, we've got Nick Maho with Simon Fell. On the third row tonight is Michael Long with Wes Shear. On row number 4, it is Victor Aldrich with Jason Miller. On row 5, we've got Drew Bernardi and Travis Rowland rounding out the grid here tonight, getting ready for this dash and ready for this run. The cars line up behind the pace car, and we are seeing James Watson already trying to get some heat into those front tyres, getting that car to stick once they get to the first corner. Pace car lights are out. We'll be going green next time around, and it is going to be all on here. And once again, we're going to be looking forward to this race. Should be some good close racing here, and it is going to be some fantastic action as we will be heading into the month of May soon. We get a bit of an idea of what it's going to be like when the IndyCars get back on the ovals with these very smaller version of the IndyCar on a very smaller version of the oval. Pace car will be pulling in, and it's going to be down to Brian Labarge now to lead them away up to the line. Gets a good start on the inside. A very good start there for Brian Labarge. Gets away nicely. Catches James Watson by surprise and gets himself out into the lead. Nick Moe up into third position as well as they come flying through for this first lap. And it looks like everybody has gotten away cleanly, and we are green here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Up front it is Brian Labarge with James Watson battling it out. Behind them is Nick Mayo, Simon Fell, Wes Shear, and there is a monstrous pack behind them, all jostling for position. It is very much the race to get started here, and we will be looking at getting this one underway as they battle it out once more here. And my timing screen is playing up a little bit. There we go. And we get the battle going through. Nice side-by-side action. Car up on the high side at the moment. You can see Wes Shear getting up on that high side, trying to get the run off the corner, seeing if he can actually get there and get the speed off the corner. Not quite working at the moment. That low to midline is looking like the more successful one at the moment. And it did look like Jason Miller was busy defending that line nicely in that group of cars. Up front is Brian Labarge with James Watson, but the rest of the pack are giving us the kind of action that we always expect here on a Tuesday night here for the Shock Series. And now the tyres will start to come up to temperature for the first time tonight, and well, other than the warm-up sessions, of course, and the cars will be feeling a lot more grippy now. But you've got to be careful not to take too much out of it too quick. We've seen a lot of cars struggling in practice earlier on in this race, having some issues with especially with the exit of turn 2 and turn 4, just getting a little bit too happy on the accelerator. So you've still got to be careful, you've still got to give lots of respect. The battle's back on where Shear manages to get down to the inside, this time on Jason Miller, and looks to try and get the move done. Miller doing a good job of holding that outside line. He can get the run off the corner. He could be able to just slot down, can't quite do it this time. They are neck and neck, and now Miller just starts to shut the door a little bit, getting that line comfortable, and Labarge is Shear is under a little bit of pressure now from Travis Rowland, who is getting the run on that high side and gets his way past. Nice move there from Rowland, and Shear is starting to struggle a little bit. Could be just saving a little bit for later in this stint, not wanting to go too hard too fast. We've seen that before with drivers just wanting to try and save a little bit of tyre in the early stint, trying to get that line working as well. Looks like Shear is favouring a slightly higher line at the moment to everybody else, but he'll be slotting back down, I'm sure, and trying to work his way back up there. Jason Miller and Rowland battling it out at the moment on track 2. The two cars really fighting it out at the moment, and you can see there Rowland is putting him under all kinds of pressure at the moment, trying to put Miller under the pressure, get him to make a mistake, and that is the chance he's looking for. Tries to go down the inside here, gets a good run off the corner, not quite enough though to make that move, and he's got to be careful of leaving himself vulnerable to the car behind. Ooh, big slide there for Bernardi, just in the background, manages to save the car. You don't want to be doing that too often here, as all round goes Bernardi into the wall. And does he manage to keep that car running? It looks like he has, just about, but that's going to be needing to come into pit lane, because there is some serious damage to that vehicle, unfortunately. He's had to get it towed in after big damage to the left front suspension, ripping off the whole front of the car. Let's see that one again, just on the exit. We were talking about that earlier. People struggling with the exit of the corners here. Getting on the power a little bit too early, was maybe a little bit tight on the exit of the corner, and the back of the car just stepped out. You can see there's quite a few bumps here as well at the Fairgrounds, and that has unfortunately caught Drew Bernardi out. Meanwhile, the battles are still going on track, and it is Labarge currently in the lead with Watson behind him. Near Kamayo, Simon Fell and Michael Long, that's our top 5 at the moment. Jason Miller, Travis Royton up 2 and 3 positions respectively, trying to work their way up through the pack. But this little battle here, Michael Long and Simon Fell, is starting to get nice and heated up on this chilly day over here in Adelaide, so a little bit of warmth is also welcome for us, and he is really putting him under pressure at the moment and trying to get himself up into 4th position, but we have seen from Simon Fell very good at defending, very good at keeping that car in the right position, and Michael Long will be watching that one and keeping himself aware of that attack, because it could come at any time. As we see now the rest of the field, and this battle is still ongoing with Jason Miller, Travis Rowland and Wes Shear. These guys are really giving us some good entertainment here, as Rowland gets a good run down the inside and makes the move in the 72, moving himself up into 6th position. That's 4 positions gained in this race so far. Can we see the 72 moving up a little bit higher and working his way through the field to get another spot in this race? Where Shear looking to get a good run on the inside of Jason Miller now, and looks to try and get that position. Miller still able to hold that high line, able to use that momentum to his favour, just keeps himself ahead for the moment. But gotta say, he is under a lot of pressure at the moment. Rowland managing to just eke away now in that bit of clean air, get himself out into a bit of a lead and into a slightly safer spot in 6th position. And you can see here that Shear's trying to work out the best position to attack at the moment. He's doing some probing attacks as it stands and just trying to work out where his best opportunity will be to try and get past that car. Of course, while he's doing that, you've got Jason Miller in front of him working out where's the best place to defend, where is Shear strong, where is he weak, where can I keep this car to keep him from overtaking. And so far Jason Miller is doing a great job of defending. Where Shear gets a run down the inside, though, this could be the opportunity for Shear to make a position. We've seen Miller able to run that high line, able to get that momentum off the corner, and he does it once more. Nicely done. And this brought Victor Aldrich into the mix as well. As these guys start to battle, it's given Travis Rowland the chance to extend his little bit of a lead over this group and work his way up to try and catch up to Michael Long as they continue on in this fight. And you can see there Aldrich trying to work his way through, and he gets a good move down on the inside. A little bit of a wibble there as the server just has a little bit of a coughing fit, but it is Victor Aldrich looking to get an attack on Jason Miller now, as where Shear drops down behind and has to try and work out his way of attacking once more, as this two-car fight has turned into a three-car battle on the track. Up the front, it is still Brian Labarge in the lead, with James Watson behind him, a 2-second lead over those two cars. So we'll keep our eyes on the main battle, because this is what we want to be seeing at the moment. This is the fun stuff for sure. As little bit of a blink there, unfortunately, for Miller. Looks like everything's settled down now, but that's given a chance. It's into the wall, contact between himself and Wes Shear, and that's going to bring out the caution flag. Really unfortunate there. There's great battling going on, but just a bit of contact into the wall, I think, for Jason Miller. He just ran wide going into the corner, got on the power, up into the wall, heavy contact, and that spat him down into Wes Shear, and around they go. Hopefully not too much damage to both those cars, some heavy licks into the wall, and that is going to require some repairs, I'm sure. That's a big shame, as we've got some pit stops happening here, and it looks like James Watson and Nia Kamaho both staying out, as they were sure that Brian Labarge might be throwing the dummy. But Labarge into the lane, lap 36 of this race, of course, a 50-minute race, of course, so still quite a bit of time remaining in this one. We should be around about 200 more laps in this race, so this is just probably going to be for some tyres maybe, and the fuel. Remember, they only have a few sets of tyres, so this could be a very useful move if we don't see another caution in this race. This could really help them out as this race goes on. They'll need to stop again for fuel, of course, but this will really shake things up here at Nashville Fairgrounds. So we're under caution for the first time here tonight, and hopefully the last time, and it is James Watson up in the lead with Nia Kamaho, Simon Fell. That's our top three at the moment. They've all Nia Kamaho and James Watson sticking it out. Simon Fell came down the lane, I think just for fuel only, so he managed to get out ahead of Brian Labarge, who has led this race so far from start to finish. Of course, it's going to be James Watson up in the lead now, so this is going to really shake things up. Pace car lights should be going out this time round, and we should be going back to green next time around, so we will be getting ready for that. So you can see Watson already trying to get some extra temperature in those front tyres. He wants them to stick when he gets into that corner. He wants them to work and be up to operational temperature. You see there's quite a lot from James Watson, really working those front tyres hard behind the pace car on the start of the race. And there's two different schools of thinking sometimes. You've got drivers that will just sort of run the brake a little bit, try and get the carcass of the temperature up, and others that will really want to get the tyres into a nice working condition with movement. Green flag drops, single file restart, and it is James Watson up in the lead. The ones I'm going to be interested in are those cars that we think changed tyres, because that could really be an interesting one. It's going to take a few laps for them to get up to temperature, but once they do, they should be in a good position. But they're going to have to work their way through the field. And James Watson will have some beautiful clean air now. Same for the Yamaha. They're going to be sitting in a position where they could just try and extend as much as possible now. And they're going to want to go as, oh, Yamaha just giving the wall a little kiss there. Don't want to be doing that too often. That can be dangerous sometimes, but a little kiss here and there is never a bad thing. As racing drivers will often say, you know, if you're just kissing the barrier, you're going fast enough. If you're not kissing the barrier, you're not going fast enough. So it is a crucial skill just to have that little touch on entry and exit sometimes, but not too much to damage the car, all importantly. So tyres will be getting back up to temperature and they'll be getting back to racing, and we'll start to see in the next lap or two the cars that looked like they changed to fresh tyres starting to work their way up through the pack, and that's going to be the crucial part of this. If they can actually start to get themselves up to the front, then they could be a real threat. It's not going to be a huge drop off of tyre time, we don't see that with these cars, but fresh tyres are often going to be better than slightly worn tyres. So we'll see how this one pans out, and you can see Brian Labage putting Simon Fell under all kinds of pressure here. And now the question is for Labage is how good is his car in traffic? We've seen him out front leading. The car seems to have a lot of pace, but you do sometimes see once it gets behind another car that the dirty air just affects the car a little bit. Sometimes that can have negative effects on your setup, but Labage showing a nice move, getting down the inside, really taking a nice tight line, is able to do that with that little bit of extra meat on the tyres, and gets himself up into third position, moving his way up through the pack nicely now. And next on his list is Nia Kamaho. We'll keep an eye on the rest of the pack as well. Unfortunately, we are missing Jason Miller and Drew Bernardi from the field now. Wes Shear is back out on track after getting some major repairs done, but that car will probably not be race winning contender, unfortunately, anymore with that bit of damage. Damaged race car is never as good as it was when it was fresh out of the box. As they continue on here and we count down in time, it is James Watson in the lead. Nick Kamaho keeping him honest at the moment, 0.3 of a second gap as it stands, and you can see now Brian Labage is starting to close up on this pair up front as well. Labage starting to put Kamiho under pressure and seeing if he can get his way up there. Takes a very high entry into the corner, going to try and take a tight line out of it, try and get as much speed down the straight, trying a few different moves here, trying the different lines to try and get the run on those cars in front. And will we see this paying off for Labage, who has taken a little bit of a gamble by coming in, but we'll see if this one works out. Of course, the cars out on track, they'll have an extra set of tyres in this race, and they'll be able to get those later on. But if we run green here, this could really pay off for somebody like Brian Labage, who could be very much on to a winning strategy. But as is always the way in motorsport, things can change at the drop of the hat. All it takes is an extra caution, and all the plans go out of the window. He's now got to do the hard part because he's managed to catch up, but passing is another thing, and we're seeing that in the background as well. Travis Rowland, Simon Feld battling it out, and it looks like Rowland's managed to get the move done, getting himself down the inside of Simon Fell and gets himself up into 4th position. Michael Long putting him under pressure as well, and they are really battling it out at the moment. And, just looking at the times, I think Simon Fell was one of the drivers that just came in for fuel rather than tyres. I wonder if that's starting to affect him a little bit. Up the front, Labage is making a move on to Nia Kamaho, looking to get up into 2nd place and work his way back to the front. Can't quite do it this time round. Kamaho doing a good job of positioning that car in a place where Labage can't quite make the pass. And this is all going to be about defensive driving now. Can they keep those cars on the fresher tyres behind them? Can they keep themselves in that position and keep themselves in the fight? So Nicolai is going to be wanting to try and keep Labage behind him as long as possible. If he can do that, he's got himself in a good position, and that's going to be helping James Watson too, who's going to be checking his mirrors and just wanting to see those cars behind him start to battle. Travis Rowland moving his way up there as well. He's starting to get into the mix now too, and starting to get himself up into this battle for the lead and the podium positions. So we've got some interesting racing now. It's really starting to come alive, and they are very much in a knife fight with each other. You can see down on the inside, Labage still trying to make that move work. Can't quite get it done this time. Will he be able to get through the corner, get a better drive off the corner? Kamaho using a little bit of draft from James Watson up ahead to keep himself just a nose ahead, but Labage is really trying, and that high line seems very good for defending at the moment. You're able to just get the runs off the corner, but Labage is so tantalisingly close to making the move done, and it looks like he may have just about done it. Kamaho, though, still defending like a lion, and he's having to defend against 2 cars at the moment, which is never an easy task. And finally, Labage makes the move stick. He manages to slide himself up in front of Kamaho and get that position. And now Labage is on the attack of James Watson. Gets down the inside, just sails on past there in the number 8 and gets that move done. Travis Rowland now on the attack too, looking to see what he can do in this little battle, and he manages to work his way up into P2. A big run here from Travis Rowland, starting down at the back of the pack, up 8 positions in this race. Fantastic job from himself, and working his way up through the field here nicely. And I'm just seeing that Victor Aldrich has come into the lane, and I think that might just be for a normal pit stop. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary here. So Victor Aldrich coming into the lane, and I wonder if he's going to be trying something a bit different here in this race. So we'll keep an eye on that one as it continues to tick down. And James Watson, I think I just heard, is going to be coming into the lane. So fuel obviously not taking them too long here. They're all coming into the lane, and this is really going to start to get things shaken up and really start to get things a little bit different here. So good to see that we're starting to see those pit stops, but how long can Labage and Rowland stay out? That's going to be the big question. We are 23 minutes into this race. Remember, it is a 50-minute race, so that's going to be getting just towards the half time mark. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do to get to the end. Nick Kamaho sticking it out at the moment. He's managed to stay out a bit longer here, so he's extending as much as possible, I think, trying to get himself into a better position later in this race. We're seeing a mix of strategies starting to play out here at Nashville Fairgrounds, and while we watch on, we'll keep an eye out and see if Nick Kamaho needs to come in the lane very, very shortly. He's done about 70 laps on this stint, so 73 laps on this stint, so decent amount of time now. So he's going to be hoping he can just extend a little bit longer here. and get himself into a position where he can be looking to run to the end without an extra stop maybe. That's going to be the crucial part of this race, if they can make it through without any extra stops. Well, while we wait for these to unfold, we'll head to a quick ad break and then get you back for the race to the flag.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It is National Racing Networks here, and we have the TNT Shock Series. It's round number 11 here at Nashville Fairgrounds, and we are back for the final run to the flag. There's 23 minutes remaining. We will be going towards the end of this race. Currently in the lead is Brian Lavage. We think he has to come in for a stop, though. Travis Rowland sits in second position. Michael Long in third. Unfortunately lost Jason Miller and Drew Bernardi from this race. But we are continuing on. James Watson's come into the lane, made his pit stop, same as Nia Kamaho, and they are now working their way back through the pack and trying to get themselves back up to the front. Can they get there with no more stops to the end? Does Brian Labarge need to make an extra pit stop? There are many things that need to be answered right now, and you can see on the picture right now, the leader is coming up to try and put these guys under another lap at the moment. So that's going to be a crucial little part of this race. Can they manage to get themselves ahead? And they are battling as well. You can see Nia Kamaho doing a good job at the moment, getting himself past James Watson, moving himself up there. And now Brian Labarge is looking to put James Watson under another lap here. So that's going to drop James Watson down 2 laps now after that pit stop. What Watson will be hoping is to see that car of Labarge coming into the lane in the near future and allowing him to close back up again. Remember, if Labarge can keep up the pace though, he should be coming out with a bit of a gap, so it shouldn't be too crucial with that pit stop. So that could be an interesting little run to the flag. He's got a 3-second lead over Travis Rowland at the moment in second position. Michael Long currently sits in third. All of these cars have made a stop now, but it was about 60 laps ago for Brian Labarge, Travis Rowland and Michael Long. We saw about 75 laps, the longest anybody could make it in a stint, so we should be looking at some drivers coming into the lane in the near future, and we do indeed see Simon Fell coming into the lane and making his should-be final stop of this race. So that's going to be crucial here, and we could still see a few more stops in this race. It's just on that annoying part where they could just tantalisingly make it to the end, but they might have to do a lot of saving to do it. So that could be very close for some of these drivers that could make it. So it's not that easy, as we've got a wing on the track at the moment, and that is from Wes Shear, who's having a horror of the night in the 16 at the moment. What has happened here to Wes Shear? As we go back to the replay and work out what's going on here, catch it just as that front wing has come off the car. Go back and see what happens here. Big snap in the middle of the corner. Oh, and heavy impact in the wall. That right of that car is a complete write-off, and that might be the end of the night for the 16. Unfortunately, a heavy impact there. Didn't bring out the caution, I am sure, to the relief of a couple of those drivers out there, but that is the end of the night for Wes Shear, I would say. It's going to need a lot of repairs done to that car. Might not be able to get them done before this race is over. Battles still on throughout the pack at the moment, and everybody's sort of settled in fairly comfortably. They're all trying to work out what they need to do to get to the end of this race, as we see Brian Labarge putting Nia Kamaho down a lap here, and that's 2 laps down now for Nia Kamaho. They will have been very glad not to see the caution flag out, I'm sure, and getting trapped down a lap or 2. So that will be some good news for everybody else. I'm sure Brian Labarge would have not been too dissatisfied to see the caution flag flying, because he's going to be needing to come into the lane very, very soon for a top-up of fuel, I think. But will he be able to come back out in the lead? That's going to be the question. He's been setting some really good pace at the moment. That number 8 is absolutely flying. So should be still on for some good positions here after that stop. And there is questions whether everybody else needs to stop at an extra time as well, including those cars that made their stop not too long ago. And that could be a really pivotal point in this race. 18 minutes left in this one, and we should be seeing some pit stops very, very shortly from the leaders of Labarge, Rowland and Long. Where will they come out in comparisons to Kamaho, Watson, and Aldrich? That's going to be the big question of how this all goes and what they can make work in this race. We saw Victor Aldrich, one of the earlier stoppers. He's sort of just keeping behind James Watson at the moment and keeping himself in a comfortable position. Currently 2 laps down as well, so we'll hopefully be able to get back on the lead lap when all of the rest make their pit stops and they can get back out and back into this race. Some big gaps throughout the field at the moment, but we will be seeing some stops soon, and that will all change as they do a sprint to the end of the race. How will everybody go? That's going to be the big question. How long can they go with the tank of fuel, as well as we got Brian Labarge coming into the lane? I was about to say he's made about 80 laps on this stint. And that could be crucial because by my quick calculation, that might put James Watson a little bit shy on fuel. He might need to make a splash and dash still. Near Kamaho, also looking a little bit touch and go if he can make it. As Labarge comes into the lane. Same for Michael Long. He's bringing it in for his pit stop too. And that promotes Travis Rowland up into the lead at the moment. But not for too much longer as he comes into the lane, gets the car slowed down, and will get it in for its pit stop. That last splash of fuel, possibly the last set of tyres, and then this 16-minute run to the end. Brian Labarge has managed to come out in front of Near Kamaho and James Watson, so crucially, Labarge managing to keep himself in the effective race lead should get that position back very shortly as well. As Travis Rowland comes back out on track. So it is Brian Labarge in the lead with Near Kamaho and Travis Rowland. That's our top 3 at the moment. With 15 minutes remaining in this race, we are now down to that final run to the flag, and how will these drivers work it out? How will they go? It's going to be crucial to not make any mistakes, and well, a caution could really scupper some people's plans here. Up the front, Brian Labarge has got a 6-second lead over Near Kamaho. So a very decent lead indeed. Travis Rowland currently sitting in 3rd position with a couple of seconds over Michael Long behind him, and James Watson towards the back of this group. But gotta say, at the moment, the number 8 is flying. Victor Aldrich coming in for his final pit stop as well, and that tells me that it's not working out how they wanted it to in that car. That's going to really cost him a lot of time on track. And this could be a painful one for Victor Aldrich, unfortunately, as that's going to cost him a lot of positions and take him out of contention for the lead group, of course. But Brian Labarge at the moment is flying out on track, setting some of the fastest laps of the race and absolutely going tooth and nail at the moment, keep himself right up in the lead of this race. And you've got to say, a number 8 car has been absolutely on fire tonight, really has had a lick of speed and has looked like one of the fastest cars out on track. Remember, it's open setup, so people will get the car tuned to how they like it, and if you can get that car absolutely tuned to how you want it to race, you will be looking very good indeed, and that's what Brian Labarge has done right here. That car is looking absolutely spot on with its setup and driving like a dream. Nick Kamaho currently sits in 2nd position, as we said. He's got a little bit of a gap over Travis Rowland, but that's one of the closest battles on track at the moment, with Michael Long and James Watson next up in the fighting contenders. So they are going to be looking to try and get some battles going on here, but this is the battle for second place, and this could be an interesting one. We've still got questions if Nehemiah can make it to the end here on fuel. Same for James Watson. That could be a really painful night for some of those drivers. If they can't make it on fuel, that could really hurt them and will drop them down a lot of positions. But at the moment, it looks like the drivers that came in for that stop in the caution, it's working out very well for. We saw, of course, Travis Rowland, Brian Labarge both coming into the lane for that stop, and it seems to be paying off at the moment with 12 minutes remaining here at Nashville Fairgrounds. It is very much on for this race, and this battle for second place is looking very juicy. Can Kamaho make it home on fuel, though? That's going to be the question. Will we see him darting into the lane for a quick splash and dash? Just doing my quick maths, it's not looking too good for those cars that made their stop about 55, 60 laps ago, because it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it on fuel. Although it's a time-sensitive race, there's still 11 minutes remaining, and that's a long time on this track. That's almost 40-odd laps of running, and that could be a really crucial pit stop for them all. But all we just saw there, both cars giving the wall a bit of a clip. Nick Meyer just maybe a little bit heavier than Travis Rowland there, and that will not be what you want to do too often. Those little hits can really build up and unsettle the car later in the stick. So it's Brian Labarge up in the lead with Travis Rowland, Nia Kamayo, Michael Long and James Watson. That's our top five at the moment. We're going to be heading to one more ad break to take us to the flag of this race. We'll be back with you very, very shortly here on National Racing Network.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the National Racing Network, and we are into the final 7 minutes of the race. We saw in the picture Nia Kamaro and James Watson having to come into the lane for an extra bit of fuel to get them to the finish of this race, and that has got to be a painful strategy call for both those drivers. Not coming in with that caution really did cost them quite a lot, it seems, and it did not pay off. That gamble definitely not paying off here tonight, as both those drivers are down a good couple of laps now, as Brian Labarge is continuing on the lead up in front and continuing on the pace, and continuing on a good pace as well. Does not look to have any concerns about the fuel at the moment. And that is going to be painful for those drivers that had to come down the lane and make that stop, because they are going to be trapped in a position where they do not want to be trapped down a couple of laps in this race. It has been a fantastic run so far for Brian Labarge. Has definitely got some serious pace in that car. Just needs to get it to the end in this final 6 minutes of racing. Good run as well for Travis Rowland. First time we've seen him in the studio and on picture this season, and has definitely come out fighting. Really nice run up in second position at the moment. Really doing a good job of moving up the field, up 8 positions from his starting spot. Michael Long currently sits in third position and is sitting pretty comfortably at the moment too, with a decent gap between himself and Nia Kamaho, who has just trying to get one of those laps back. So Michael Long just got passed by Nia Kamaho on track, but Kamaho is a lap down on him, so needs to try and get a lap in this final 5 minutes. That's going to be a very hard task indeed. Michael Long doing a good job of keeping that car on track, and a good strategy call as well. Might not have had the ultimate pace out there as some of the other drivers, but has absolutely made this one pay off well, and pay off very well indeed, with a third place at the moment. But with 5 minutes left in this race, anything could still happen. A late caution or a late issue for some of these drivers could really scarper their chances, so they're just going to be hoping to make it to the flag and just keep themselves nice and calm, nice and comfortable for this race as it comes to its close. So with everybody on track at the moment and everybody keeping themselves in a good position, we've lost from this race Drew Bernardi, Jason Miller, and I believe Wes Shear as well has not got it back out on track. So unfortunately 3 drivers not making it to the finish, but we've seen some good racing on track tonight. There's been some good action indeed, and we're now seeing Michael Long trying to get a lap back on Travis Rowland, who at the moment is sitting in a good position. He's currently the only other car on the lead lap as it stands, and he's going to want to try and keep Michael Long behind him just in case anything crazy happens in the final few laps of this race. Try and keep that second place as secure and snug as possible. see here on track. It's been a very decent run for Roland and Long here tonight. Both of them just keeping that car right in the right spot. But ultimately, Brian Labarge has been the class of the field so far and is just keeping that car nice and calm. Still setting some fast laps as well. Labarge not easing off, not dropping off the pace at all, is wanting to keep himself in contention, keep himself running as fast as possible, so not to lose focus. He's not wanting to think about it too much. He just wants to keep his head down and get himself to the end of this race as quick as possible, and he's doing a great job of that at the moment. So the clock ticks down with 2 minutes left in this race. It's not long at all, and Brian Labarge is going to be hoping that he can get this one done. Of course, in those 2 laps, it's about 7 laps of this racetrack they'll need to do, so plenty could still happen. We've seen a couple of mistakes creeping in through this race, a couple of people making some little mistakes here and there, and they have really, it's very easy to make, and you just got to try and avoid that if you can, especially if you're leading. You do not want to get loose on the exit. You do not want to give that wall a big clip and find yourself damaged, and trailing to the flag is going to be all about focus at the moment, keeping yourself on ball, keeping yourself on track for that finish line. And you've got to say at the moment, Brian Labarge is doing a great job of this. Has had a victory so far this season as well. It's knows what to do, knows how to win races, so pressure won't be building too much. Just needs to keep it calm in these final few laps as he looks to make a pass there on Michael Long, putting him down 2 laps now, and continues flying through the field. There's no real close battles at the moment. The field is very spread out, the most we've seen it so far all season, I think. This is one of the biggest field spreads that we've seen. There is this little battle between Simon Fell and Victor Aldrich, and that's the closest on track at the moment, and that's for 6th and 7th place. So we might see a little bit of fireworks there, but it won't be long now, and we will be seeing the car cross the line as the white flag should be coming out very shortly for Brian Labarge, who will be coming across the line. White flag is out, and into the final lap we go for Brian Labarge. Can he make it through these final few corners without any problems? Just nicely turns the car in, gets the car under power, and gets across the line and takes a victory here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds. Travis Ronan will come home in 2nd position, gets the power down, gets across the line, and gets himself a well-deserved P2. Michael Long will come home in 3rd position, with Nia Kamaho 4th and James Watson in 5th position. Let's run through the finishing order and let's check out the results, and it is Brian Labarge taking victory here tonight, with Travis Ronan in 2nd. Michael Long comes home 3rd, and Nia Kamaho in 4th, James Watson in 5th position. And well, Brian Labarge has had pretty much a flawless night, but needs to do a little bit of practice on those donuts, giving the rear a bit of a hit. In 6th position, it's Victor Aldrich, with Simon Fell 7th, Wes Shear in 8th, 9th for Jason Miller, and Drew Bernardi in 10th position. We'll be heading to a quick ad break, and we'll be back with the interview of our top 3 drivers.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are with some of our podium getters, and we're going to be starting off with our third place finisher here tonight. It's Mike Long. Mike, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on P3 here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, thank you. That was a tough race. It's a very bumpy track, and it's hard on your arms. I got old arms, so really my shoulder was really feeling it there at the end. But Brian just kicked our butts. I mean, he was out there flying. I had a big push towards the end, and I was just kind of hanging on. I played the strategy right. I was quick, reasonably quick, and then played the strategy right and was able to bring it home third.
Well, we saw you having some good battles on track, and absolutely that strategy paying off for you. That stop under that first caution really looked like it brought your race alive.
Yeah, definitely. I changed tires there too, and I think the AJ didn't. He just pitted for fuel only, and I think that made all the difference. Although, like I say, I was hanging on at the end. I didn't have a lot of tire left. I was getting a big push, but he had to stop, and that made all the difference.
It does indeed. Look, if you can get the strategy absolutely worked out, it is very helpful indeed, especially if your arms are a bit sore, because it just helps helps you a little bit. You don't have to push quite as hard. But yeah, we saw a lot of drivers struggling out there tonight, especially on the exit. Quite a few people getting close to the wall, and we saw a few people looping it as well. It did not look like the easiest of runs.
Yeah, I only whacked the wall once coming out of turn 2. The rest of the time I was pretty good, but yeah, it's tough to be quick, and you want to get to power as quickly as you can in the middle of the corner, and in that it just pushes up. And I worked really hard on the setup beforehand to try to not get that, try to at least reduce that push. Although at the end there. With that many laps on the tires, it was tough.
No, absolutely. Like the old tires, they don't work as well as the new ones, but you absolutely made it work here tonight. Congratulations on a very well-deserved P3 on the podium here tonight at Nashville.
Yeah, thank you.
Before I let you go, though, love, shout out to people, sponsors, fans, family. Go for it. You've absolutely earned it here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, probably my wife. She allows me to do this stuff without a whole lot of flack. She knows I'm a big race fan, and like to drive fast. Unfortunately, I'm not a real race car driver, so but yeah, this is about as far as I can get with it. So thanks to her.
The good thing about virtual racing is it's still expensive, but you don't hurt yourself as much.
Yeah, it's a lot less expensive, believe me.
Congratulations tonight. Well done indeed. Have a good evening and enjoy this podium position.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, we're going to be heading to our race winner. It's Brian Labarge. Brian, welcome to the booth, and well done on victory here. I mean, you made it almost look a little bit easy out there tonight. I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, this is, as Mike said, I mean, this is a little bit of a tricky track. You know, there's the bump on the exit of 2 that if you take it just wrong, you will be up into the wall. And if you get on power maybe a little bit too soon in 4 is deceptive because you think you have it, and then there's like a little bit of crest right over by the wall that if you're out there, that crest pulls you down and into that wall. So it looks like you have a lot of space on the exit of 4, but you've really got to make sure that, you know, it's your where you get on the gas in between 3 and 4 that determines really where you end up there. So yeah, it is bumpy. The turns come at you once every 4 seconds, or actually 8 seconds. Yeah, so you really have to, you know, be focused the entire time, and you know, if you kind of just get into that zone, and you just got to make sure you just, you know, keep the concentration, don't lose the focus on it, and if I think if you do that, everything kind of falls into place.
Absolutely, and it fell into place tonight. Were you surprised to not see a couple of the drivers not coming into the lane with that early caution?
Well, yes and no. I knew from testing that it was going to be a 2-stop race. I mean, there was no way that anyone was going to do that with a 1-stop. So, I kind of the caution came out was actually perfect, because if it was the other way around, if it came back in the last 10 minutes there, then I think that definitely would have been in the window where about everybody would just be that splash and dash for the final short stint. So I just decided to just do the short stint. I knew at that point I had plenty of pace, so it was really just a matter of making sure that, you know, if I can make a couple moves, you know, in that second stint to get by a couple guys that I knew that as soon as I found clean air, I could probably rebuild up, you know, the gap with that when everything cycled back around on pit stops, that, you know, I should be able to put myself in good clean air and on track. So thankfully it did. You know, I didn't get stuck behind anybody, so I was pretty pleased with that.
Absolutely, fastest lap, pole position, and the win here tonight. Absolutely dominated out there, and the car just looked so stable as well. Watching it through the broadcast, we were just saying how the setup just looked absolutely spot on for you and your driving style.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I don't really like, you know, in many respects, like I can't have it be like understeer for me is just that's the one thing I don't like on an oval setup, and this thing had just the right amount of rotation on everything and was pretty resistant to that bump coming out of 2. So once I knew I had both those things dialed back, I was like, God, this is good. I'm gonna like this a lot.
Well, you could tell that you liked it a lot. A fantastic victory here tonight. Well done indeed, Brian. Before I let you go, though, love to shout out to people, sponsors, everybody out there. You absolutely deserve it here tonight.
All right, thank you. First off, thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast week in, week out. You guys do a fantastic job. Thanks to NASA and JPL, Team Watson Racing. I'm sure there is a code that you can go for the Team Watson Racing Setups website that James usually goes to there, you know, gives it out there, but he's the boss man. And, you know, same thing to all the racers out there. Thanks to the wife and all the other family members who support this ridiculous habit. Much appreciated.
Congratulations tonight, Brian. Well done indeed. And I'm sure we'll see you back up here at some time in the near future. But for the rest of tonight, enjoy this one and celebrate that race victory.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we are done and dusted for this evening. A big thank you to everybody for joining us out there, and a big thank you to all the sponsors, of course, keeping the lights on and keeping the racing going here on National Racing Network for the TNT Shock Series. From myself, Carl Wilkinson with you, going to wish you a very good night indeed. Of course, Kobe Jordan in the background doing all the hard work. We'll see you again soon, but for tonight, we'll wish you a good one. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back with you again soon.